Welcome back. I'm Tara Wagner, the Breakthrough Coach for Female Entrepreneurs, and I'm teaming up with Joyce Rojas today to talk to you about your small business finances. Joyce is a money mindset mentor, and she's going to walk us through the practical steps to master your business finances as an entrepreneur. And then I'm going to pop in after each point that she teaches to coach you through the mindset work you need to feel confident, to feel motivated, to feel ready to master that step. So, if you have been avoiding your business finances because it is too overwhelming, maybe you even feel a little bit embarrassed because it's kind of a mess right now, let's jump over to Joyce for step number one.
Hi everybody, Joyce Rojas here. Being in the finance and banking industry for almost 20 years has taught me a lot. And here is what I have seen successful entrepreneurs do with their money. Step number one is to separate their business and personal funds. That means you are going to have a completely separate account for your business. Even if you're just starting off, have a separate business account so that anything that comes in from your business, any money you make, even if it's just $100, goes into your business account. Any money that you make on your personal side, let's say you're still working a full-time job, goes into a personal account. The same thing is going to happen with your debt. Your debt has to be separate. Do not commingle your personal and your business debt. Have a business credit card set for your business, a business line of credit set for your business. Any loans should be under the business name. Do not do any of your debt on the personal side. So begin separating everything from personal and business. It's really important. You should also consider having different plans. So when you sit with a financial advisor, you can have a personal financial plan, but you should also look at your business financial plan. How do you want it to grow? What expectations are you having for sales? All of that should have its own business plan. So separate personal from business.
Joyce is 100% right on this one, but what I know to often come up in our minds as we're looking at this is two separate forms of imposter syndrome. One might be saying, I'm too small, my business is too small, I'm not making enough money, this isn't for me, I can handle this later. The other might say, I am making enough money. I should have known this by now. How come I haven't done this yet? And that can start to bring up the imposter syndrome as well. If that's happening for you, here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, are these thoughts helpful? It doesn't matter if they're right or wrong, but are they helpful to what I need to do next? And if they're not, I want you to ask yourself, what are some more helpful things that I could start to think? And what are some more helpful things that I can start to do?
Another step is to allocate money. So allocate the money that you know you're going to have to pay for your business. There are certain expenses in your business that you know are going to be there. So for example, if you have an assistant, well, your assistant may cost $500 a week. You know you're gonna have to pay your assistant. So from whatever money comes in to your business, begin to automatically allocate that certain amount so that you have that paid by the time you have to make that payment. So for example, if you pay your employees every other week, then you should immediately be allocating a certain amount of whatever money is coming in for your business, allocate it towards compensation of your employees. The other thing to consider is definitely consider having a certain amount you pay yourself. There are certain business owners that kind of just go off of, okay, whatever the business makes, and then we're gonna end up paying ourselves later on, or whenever I need a certain amount, I'll just take it from the business account. Don't run your business that way. Know how much it is that you want to make for this year, okay? And pay yourself that as a comp, as compensation. So then that way you know exactly how much is coming out for your compensation and for your employees' compensation. So begin to allocate specific amounts for the business expenses. Another business expense to consider is your debt. So if the business has any debt, know how much you have to pay on a monthly basis, right? So you know that credit line or that credit card that comes and says, hey, minimum payment is $150. You don't want to make a minimum payment. You really don't want to make a minimum payment, because that means you're going to be paying that for like the next 10 years. And who's making money off of that? Yeah, it's the credit card company. It is not you. So you want to know what the minimum is, and you want to try to double down on that. If not, pay the whole thing off. That's the most beautiful thing you can do, is just pay the full amount at the end of the month. But if you're not there yet, then you want to be able to at least double down on what they're asking for. And that way you can get out of debt a lot faster. So make sure that if you know your debt and money is coming in from your business, you can say, this is the amount I want to allocate from whatever monies come into my business. This is the amount I'm allocating towards business debt. The next thing to consider is emergency funds. All right, everybody, we just saw COVID, okay? COVID was like, what? It was this huge surprise no one expected. A lot of business owners they were in shambles. They didn't know what to do. Many people had to close their businesses down. Other ones really had to figure things out and then move in a different direction. So anything could happen. And that's why it's so important to have emergency funds for your business. That way you don't have to tap into your personal money. Because as a business owner, you're running two worlds. You're running your business world and you're running your personal world. So you don't want to have to sacrifice your personal world because your business is going down or didn't have emergency funds, didn't plan ahead. So make sure that you plan ahead for emergency purposes. And as money comes in, you can begin to allocate a certain amount, a certain percentage. I typically recommend allocating 10% of whatever comes in for emergency funds. I also recommend allocating 10% for tax purposes. So begin looking at the money that comes in and saying, okay, out of this $1,000 that came in, how much am I allocating for emergency? Let's say that's 10%. How much am I allocating for taxes? Let's say that's 10%. How much am I allocating for compensation? Okay, so that way you know that the money that's coming into your business has purpose. It has direction. And that is the best way you can do it, is to just know what categories your business is going to have to pay for. And as money comes in, have this formula of the way that your money is going to be spent.
Okay, deep breath, because I know that this can start to feel overwhelming right about now. And I know the thoughts can start to say, I can't do this, I'll never get there, I'll never figure it out. But here's what I want you to remember. There's a quote that I loved by Joan Baez that says, action is the antidote to despair. The longer we stay in the thoughts and the emotions that are not helpful, the further away we get from actually doing the things that will be helpful. So Joyce gave you the list, the things that you want to start doing. Your job is to write these down and choose one at a time to start implementing. Just start chipping away at it. And in fact, I would love for you to comment below and let us know how you're doing with this allocation already, how you're doing with this budgeting of your small business finances, and where you know you need to be focusing on next. Okay, for the next 3 steps, be sure to jump over to the second part of this video on Joyce's channel. You're gonna find the link below this video, and we're gonna go into how to lower your tax bill by knowing one simple thing, what needs to be snuffed out before it wrecks your progress, and which advisor every business owner will want to add to their speed dial. And if you're brand new to my channel and would love more videos like these to help you master the skills and the mindset as an entrepreneur so you can crush your goals, not your soul, be sure to subscribe, hit the bell, and check out more videos on my channel. Fist bump if you made it to the end of this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in part 2 over on Joyce's channel.